Generally, our worldview within Western culture is a scientific materialistic worldview nowadays. We believe sort of that if you can see it, it's real. If you can study it and examine it and find out about it, it's real. If it's verifiable by a lot of people or by scientific method, then it's real. And I think that from a spiritual point of view, there's still a lot we don't understand about the universe, about what is, about the whole reality. And so I think things we don't understand yet seem magical. Like, for example, if you saw, a Boeing 707 500 years ago flying over your town and landing in the field, you would think that was magic. So I think sometimes what we see or experience as kind of magical on the spiritual journey is that we don't really understand everything, how things work and everything. So I think that unusual things can occur sometimes, and I think that the truth of what is beyond our scientific rational mind.
In the mystical tradition, there definitely is a strain of Jewish mysticism, of Kabbalah, that's known as practical Kabbalah. And there are elements of it that are considered to be what we would call today magical, from incantations to amulets to practices that lead to the construction of a golem, of an anthropoid that is invested with spirit to kind of have its own qualities and power. And there is a real resistance within most of the Jewish communities, the normative Jewish communities, to engage in magic and to divorce that from the religion itself. Part of the fear is that it becomes used for dark forces and becomes what we know as black magic, right? So when you begin to separate those elements from the normal practice of religion, then it becomes a threat to the well-being of a balanced religious spiritual diet, right? Where you have to have those elements that relate to the deeper esoteric teachings, and there is no denying that is definitely part of the esoteric tradition. It's not the whole of it. It's there. It's definitely a part of it, but it needs to be seen in a larger context of what we would see as a more robust relationship to mysticism in general. It's an element, but it's not the whole of it. And I think oftentimes what's happened in contemporary culture is that, especially in the Jewish world, there have been sects and institutes that have tried to specialize in this kind of element of Jewish life, and it's become denigrated. And as a result, a lot of the normative institutions look at it and they say, if you're using, red bindles or holy water, or you're buying a set of Zohar and you don't actually read it or contemplate it or just do anything but kind of scan it in a magical way, or put amulets here or do things there, people, the normative response to that is that it's a little bit, it denigrates the life of the spirit, because it really becomes instrumental. And that instrumentalist view of our relationship to the divine is something that we try to avoid. It doesn't mean that it's not there, but to remove it from the larger ethos of what we're after doesn't do justice to the whole picture and to the more robust way of living spiritually.
Because we have these bodies and we think that this is myself and this is what I am, my body. And we think that there's like a place of separation where I stop at my skin and you start over there at your skin, and then that's you and this is me. And what we don't realize is that there's a deeper reality where we're all not only interconnected, we're inseparable. And you can't really take it apart actually in reality. Like, for example, if say there's 3 of us sitting in this room right now, we can't really say, where does your consciousness stop and mine begin? We're all interacting. Our consciousnesses are not actually really separate in this room. They're interacting with each other. So I think that's a simple kind of way to understand that all the time, everything is in this interdependent relationship between all the various phenomena.
Everything is a miracle. I think we have to realize that existence itself is a miracle. We stop seeing that miracle and we kind of trivialize it, but it's still a miracle. The very fact of this day, the very fact of this planet, the very fact that we can be aware of it, that we were born. I mean, my God, how complicated is that? It's enormously, unthinkably complex. The body itself, if you explore the biochemistry and the physiology, the body is a miracle. It's an absolute miracle, and everyone's walking around like, well, this is just very ordinary, and it is ordinary, and but it's still miraculous, totally miraculous.
On the one hand, our liturgy in the Hebrew Bible is full of accounts and records of the miraculous and the wondrous. I mean, every morning in liturgy, we recite the section from Exodus that speaks about the miracle of the splitting of the Reed Sea. And that's supposed to be something that we inculcate on a regular basis into part of our soul life and our journey. And yet, as moderns, Jews especially struggle with articulating a sense of belief in God, as well as a relationship to miracles. So my take on miracles as someone who's more mystically inclined is the language that works better for me is to be in a state of radical amazement, and that there are small miracles that are happening around us at all times. And it's a question of awakening from the sleep and the slumber that we live in to realize that there are these moments that you can be radically amazed about. And it may be something as amazing, and perhaps for many people as mundane, as just being able to go into nature and witness the setting of the sun. Or to be in nature when the first flowers are in bloom, or a fruit emerges for the first time in the season. Those are moments of radical amazement. And the mystical approach is to be able to acknowledge that and to say that really we're surrounded by it at all times. Because the miraculous, as we call it, really is just an extension of the awareness of the divine being present in every moment. That I can dance, I can sing, I can celebrate the beauty of nature, of relationships, of whatever it is that I see as a small miracle from moment to moment. And that to me is being in a state of radical amazement.
Most people think that miracles are an exception to natural law, but in my experience and studies, miracles are the expression of an understanding of the higher vibrations of natural law. So they're within. God is not making an exception, else everything would fall apart. We are just understanding at a higher level, or attuning to a different rate of vibration that allows things to shift and change in what seems to us miraculous ways. But we live in miracles all the time.